Hello! In this video we are going to be talking about the sleep paralysis, and I'm going to share with you my experience of having sleep paralysis maybe 30, maybe 40 times in my life, maybe even more. I also created a video about my experience with the lucid dreams because I had maybe 100, maybe 200, maybe even more lucid dreams. Sleep paralysis I had luckily less time, but I still had a lot of time. So yeah, I'm going to be talking a little bit also about the entities during the sleep paralysis and how I was able to tell a sleep paralysis entity while it was hovering over me that I am not afraid of you. So yeah. My first sleep paralysis was maybe when I was 15, 16. I was on a holiday with my family, with my parents, and I went to sleep during the afternoon. So it was maybe 4, 5 p.m. Before dinner. I went to sleep. I was alone in the room, and I woke up and I couldn't move. Like, if you had the experience with sleep paralysis, you know how it feels that you wake up, but you are paralyzed and you cannot move at all. So I wanted to scream or I wanted to force myself to move, but only movement that I was able to do, probably, maybe I wasn't even able to do that, was moving my eyes. And I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. And yeah, it was really scary because it was my first time and I didn't know if something happened to me, like is this going to be forever or how long is this going to last. But luckily, after maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes, I was able to move and everything was fine. During my first sleep paralysis, I don't remember having entities or feeling entities or something, but later on in my life, I had the sleep paralysis with the entity. For some reason, but it makes sense, I would guess, some of my sleep paralysis, maybe even half of them, but it's hard to say, but some of them were when I was sleeping during the afternoon or when I was sleeping late, like when I was sleeping until 11 a.m. and so on. But many times when I would go to sleep during the afternoon, which I don't do that often, because you have school, then you have job and so on. But I would say that during afternoon, it's like your mind is more aware or something, I don't know. But yeah. There is one very interesting thing that was happening to me during the sleep paralysis. And this is something that I have never read, I never heard about this. Maybe some people experience something similar, but I was unable to find something similar. And that's, I think there is some connection between THC, like weed, marijuana, and sleep paralysis. And I have two reasons why I think it is the case. So when I had my first sleep paralysis, I was smoking weed occasionally. Later on, I started to smoke daily, but when I was younger, I was smoking only occasionally. And what would happen to me during the sleep paralysis or before the sleep paralysis is that I will tell you chronologically. I am during the wake life and I don't smoke weed. Like I smoke once in a month, so I go sleep, I go to sleep, I am not high or anything, and yeah. And then I am dreaming, like not lucid dreaming, not sleep paralysis yet. I am dreaming, and in the dream, I start to be high. You know, like you are dreaming, but in a dream you are high, and it is a specific high of THC. And then, during my dreams, I would be like, but wait a minute, I am high, but I don't have any memory of smoking weed or anything. You know, I would be in a dream like, I am high, but how did I get high? I don't remember smoking joint or anything. And then these dreams would turn to sleep paralysis. For some reason. For some reason, I don't know, this happened to me many times, at least 10, but maybe even 20. Like maybe half of my sleep paralysis would be that I would have a dream of being high of THC, and then it would turn to sleep paralysis. Also, I have some experience of me being high in a dream, and later on that the dream was like a precognitive dream. But yeah. Another thing, well, there is, in my opinion, my experience, some connection between THC and sleep paralysis, is that I have a history of abuse of weed, you know. As I said, when I was younger, I was not smoking daily, but later on I started to smoke daily. And I tried to quit many times. Maybe way too many times, you know. You try to quit, you are 1 week or 2 weeks off, then you start again, and so on. And sometimes, or many times, I had a sleep paralysis 1 day or 2 days or the third day after I quitted weed. You know, when you quit weed, you can have some little withdrawals, like some people can't eat, can't sleep, or you are sweating or something during the night. But I would have a sleep paralysis, usually maybe first or second night, I don't know, when I would be off the weed. So yeah, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I would say there is some kind of connection in there. Now let's talk about the entities. I had entities during my sleep paralysis, and I would say that maybe 50% of the time when I had entities, because I didn't have entities all the time, but when I would have a sleep paralysis and I would have some kind of entities, half of the time it would be like this shadow, dark entity, or just feeling that some kind of weird energy is around me. And half of the time I would feel that someone from my family, either my mother or my sister or my girlfriend or someone, is next to me in sitting on my bed. So for example, I would be in a sleep paralysis, and I would be 100% convinced that my mother came to my room and she sit on my bed, like maybe she want to wake me up or something, and I want to tell her that I am in a sleep paralysis, I can't move, in 1 minute or 2 minutes I will be able to move, and I will explain to you that I had a sleep paralysis. But I had this feeling, like, not feeling, I knew that she is in there. And when the sleep paralysis ended, obviously there was nobody in the room, you know? So half of the time I would have some relative, and half of the time there would be maybe not seeing the entities that much, but this feeling that they are there somewhere. So yeah. I used to have the sleep paralysis more during the past. During the last 5 years, I had maybe 3 times. So many of my sleep paralysis were in the past. But not the last one, but one before the last one, I had a sleep paralysis. and a shadow entity, like big one, like a human size, was hovering over me. And I was thinking like it is real, that there is like a real entity over me. And with the calmest mind, I told the sleep paralysis entity that I am not afraid of you. And I woke up from that and I felt really great. This sleep paralysis entity and these sleep paralysis experiences are very scary. And there is one reason how I was able to tell the sleep paralysis entity that I am not afraid. Also, this may be other connection, but I would say that this is way worse. And what helped me, not helped me, but what made me to tell the sleep paralysis entity that I am not afraid is that few weeks or few months before of that, I don't remember exactly, I had my first strong experience with Salvia divinorum 20x extract. And Salvia divinorum is terrible. I think it's the strongest psychedelic. Like, I had DMT, and in my experience, DMT cannot be compared to Salvia. Like, Salvia is way stronger, way worse, and so on. And I am not going to be talking about my experience with Salvia right now, but it was terrible. And for me, it was so alien that the spirits, the ghosts, devil, aliens, parallel universes, they are not that alien as what Salvia divinorum did to me, you know? And when I had this sleep paralysis and the shadow entity was over me, I was thinking like, if I compare you, sleep paralysis entity, with the Salvia divinorum experience, you are basically funny. You are funny in compared to that experience. So yeah. I was even thinking that if the sleep paralysis entity would get to the Salvia divinorum realm, it would be scared as hell. I was thinking like, even if devil himself would smoke Salvia, he would be terrified. Like these most terrifying things would be terrified of Salvia, in my opinion. Yeah. And my last experience with the sleep paralysis was one more time that I was not afraid. And basically, I had a sleep paralysis and something, obviously not literally, but I was sure that it is happening, something lifted me out of the bed, maybe to 1 or 2 meters, and threw me to the floor and was pushing me to the floor. And I was like trying to defend myself, but I was like, okay, whatever. You know, one more time I was comparing that with the Salvia divinorum, you know? And it should be scary that something or somebody is lifting you out of the bed, throwing you to the floor and pushing you to the floor. But for me, it wasn't. So with this Salvia, I lost fears of these supernatural things. Not completely, but a lot of fears of like spirits, ghosts, and things like this. I am not afraid that much anymore. But I have still many fears, many anxieties. But my anxieties are like from real world, I would say. So I have many fears. But these entities, I am like, I don't mind. When I have some noise in my room during the night, like if I feel that there is something with me in the room and some weird noise will happen or something will fall down, I would be like, psh, I want to sleep. Like, I would be like, not bothered, you know? Yeah. And since then, I don't have sleep paralysis much. I don't miss it. I would be really interested, if I would have, because my last sleep paralysis was maybe 1 year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, I don't know. It's very hard to say. I would be interested to know that if I would have the sleep paralysis right now, if I would still be not afraid, or if I would be afraid. Yeah. And one last thing that happens to me with the sleep paralysis, which is kind of interesting, maybe not interesting, but something that happens to me, is that when I would have a sleep paralysis, I would have it repeatedly during the night, or if I would be during the afternoon, I would have it repeatedly during the afternoon. Let's go with the example during the night. So during the night, I would go asleep and I would have a sleep paralysis and I would wake up and I would fall asleep again and boom, one more time sleep paralysis. One more time wake up and one more time sleep paralysis. And I could have like 3, 4, 5 times sleep paralysis during the night, which I would count like one sleep paralysis, but yeah. And then usually I would be like, okay, no more, like I am not going to sleep, like I had enough sleep, I am not going to have more sleep paralysis this night. It's 4 a.m. Okay, I am not going to sleep. Or I would go sleep in 1 hour later and so on. But yeah, this was just my little experience with the sleep paralysis. And yeah, you may write me down in the comments if you have some kind of similar experience with THC and sleep paralysis, maybe after quitting THC, or if you had some kind of these THC dreams which turned to the sleep paralysis, because I was not able to find this on some forums. So I would be really, really interested if there is someone who has this in some way similar. Or you can write me your own experiences with the sleep paralysis, or anything that maybe I forget, or that you think that happens a lot that I didn't mention, or anything. So yeah, this was just my experience. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah, enjoy your day and goodbye.